right. We are here today to talk about LA Confidential, a great movie from 1997, and one of my favorites. I'm here with F.R.
Yes, me too.
Jameson. Yes, F.R. Jameson
Yeah.
is here.
Yes,
And
F.R. Jameson. I'm author of the Scream Simon Noir series as well as other things, but most appropriate the Scream Simon Noir series.
yes, I am also author of the Sam McRae Mysteries and Erica Jensen Mysteries, as well as some books that deal with film noir and neo-noir. But let us speak of LA Confidential, which is an awesome movie.
Yes.
Afar, do you have a summary for us?
Yeah, the summary isn't going to take me too long, actually. It's
Yes.
basically um, three very differing policemen, the kind of the showman, the instrument, and the politician, get involved in a huge labyrinthine case that involves gangsters and police corruption, and all find something about themselves along the way.
Yeah, boy.
It's either do a very short synopsis or really get into the weeds. Something
Which you
else.
don't want to do. It means it's just
Well,
there's so many threads to this story, so many little clues placed
yeah,
in different spots that you
yes,
don't see until after you've seen the movie and maybe watched it two or three times.
yes. Have
It's just
you
really an
read the book?
extraordinary script. I have read the book, actually.
Yeah.
It's somewhat different, I think, from
It's
the
not, it's
movie,
more
but
complicated than the film.
it's more complicated, of
Yeah,
course, because it's a book and they
yeah,
get into things that you can't really visualize as much.
yeah,
But I remember the tone of the book was very rat-a-tat. The
yes,
writing is very abrupt and kind
yeah,
of but the sentences kind of go like that.
yeah. Because of the
Real
site, I mean, I've really enjoyed that format of books. I find Elway's writing these days, he's been swallowed by his own style. I've tried to read the last couple, and it's just like I just find them utterly impossible. So I don't know if I'll go back and try and read their content and find the same flaws, or I think it's more the case he's just so lost in the woods of his own style now that
it could be, yeah.
no one else can get in.
Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I did think the book was good. I thought the movie was a really good adaptation of it too.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, to take that material and turn it into a movie, I'm always impressed when somebody can take something like this is different, but Catch 22, for instance,
Yeah.
was such a unique narrative, and then they made it a movie, and I was just
Yeah.
like, I don't believe they did it. They did it well
Capturing Two
too.
is a good comparison. It's another sprawling narrative with lots of characters.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And each of them, everything seems to be so transactional. It's like
Yeah.
everybody's got something on somebody else and they're using it to get
Yes.
something, which is really interesting and kind of
Yes.
creepy. The more you think about it, the creepier it gets because it's almost like they took Chinatown and they made the corruption even worse.
Yeah. But then, unlike Chinatown, it has a happy ending or a happy-ish
Yes.
ending.
Yes, I was like, okay, we're gonna give it the happy ending there with
Yeah.
White going off to Arizona, presumably with the former prostitute.
Yeah.
Uh, Ed Ed gets his heroes, his hero
Yeah.
award or whatever to make the department look good because
Yes.
basically he just holds that over their head and says, "Look, you need a hero. I'm the
Yeah.
hero
Which
here."
which which is one of my favorite moments when they're the other side of the glass to him and he's in the room alone
Oh
and starts
yeah.
smiling and they've been talking about, maybe Dundee Smith will die a hero. There's a little smile on his face of hero 'cause he is the ultimate politician who's one step ahead of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He uses that brain of his that
Mm.
everybody mocks so much
Yeah.
to advantage.
Yes.
So it's like brawn versus brain. You got the Bud White approach, you
Yeah.
have the Ed Bexley approach.
Yeah. You have
Yeah.
the Jack Vincent character that Dudley Smith says to him earlier, I doubt you've ever taken a stupid breath in your life. And then with his final breath, sort of
Yeah.
blows the whole thing apart.
I know. I know
Yeah,
that scene is just
yeah,
something else. I love that scene. Much as I hate to see him die, I love that
yeah.
scene. Yeah,
He's a very good character.
he is. He
Yeah.
is.
And a very
Yeah.
good performance from Kevin Spacey, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, for
subsequent
sure.
things about Kevin Spacey less pleasant.
Yeah. Although they turned out to be somewhat exaggerated, as I
Yeah,
understand it. I understand all the hoopla was not really merited. I
yes,
don't know. Who knows the truth? I don't know.
yes, yeah. I mean,
So,
the other, we've already mentioned it, but the other sort of point of comparison for this film would be Chinatown, which also has stuff dubious people involved in it, or a
dubious
dubious person
people.
involved in it. Yeah,
I think the part that really got me in Chinatown is when Faye Dunaway says he owns the police.
yeah, yeah,
So to me, that kind of like connects it with this film a little bit. It's like
yeah,
the DA is has some kind of secret that everybody, he wants to keep from everybody because homosexuality is frowned upon
yeah,
then.
yeah.
And it gets ugly, really
Yeah.
ugly.
But
But
they all have, and probably with the exception of Jack Frontez, you never learn his kind of secret. There's a sort of clunky in a moment in the film. It's Russell Crowe's character saying his past secret about two scenes away from Guy Pearce saying his cat past secret, which feels
mm,
that close to each other, quite a bit clunky. But then you do have, you have the DA. This has been gay, as was Dudley Smith. He's so corrupt that it's right at the start of the film. He's positioned as your genial, hail fellow Irishman
yeah,
who's only funny. You don't realize that he's the bad guy.
yeah,
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 and then
exactly.
you have these. I mean, I guess the other one doesn't really have a secret. It's Danny DeVito, who's just like an agent of chaos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
So yeah,
I
they're
know.
spreading trouble wherever he goes.
I know. It's like he's like chaos before the days of social media,
Yeah,
slander sheets, slander
yeah.
newspapers,
Well, it was confidential, wasn't it? It was the name of the actual magazine. It's hush hush in this, but it's
Yes.
confidential, which really did have all these exposés and
Mm-hmm.
would print any piece of gossip, and it was this kind of incredibly tawdry but selling publication.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tawdry. It's a nice word. I like
Although
that
it probably
word.
doesn't have, compared to what we have today, it probably doesn't have much at all. Yeah.
Really. I mean, by today's standards, none of this would shock anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Homosexuality, so what?
Yes.
Infidelity, well, it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even Marrow.
there was this great I guess desire to keep Hollywood looking family friendly and all this kind of stuff. You see all these
Yeah.
scenes in the beginning of homes and, you know, middle class living and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Kids watching TV, whatever. Um,
You don't really. It's interesting because it's what is it? It's early 1950s, is it? Is what it's actually set.
yeah, I was trying to figure that out. I wasn't
Yeah,
quite sure.
yeah. It's set over 2 years because there's a Christmas incident
Right, the
at the
Christmas.
start. It's set
Yeah.
over 2 years. I don't know if it's 1949 or 1950, but you're kind of on the cusp of Eisenhower America.
Mm,
But you don't have you also have America's very much TV in every home, cars, middle class America thriving. But you don't have the middle class represented in this film. You either have workers of the police or the Kim Messenger, or you have incredibly rich, like Piers Pratchett, or Mickey Cohen.
You're right, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good point.
yeah,
So there's a great divide there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Either people working or people who kind of own the system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very much so.
yeah,
I couldn't get over how intense that scene was, that Christmas scene in
yeah.
in the cells. It
Because
almost feels like a prison riot.
it's, I believe that was a real incident.
Hmm.
That is something that really happened. There was this kind of big fight in an LA police station. It managed to end up in all the papers, and there's certain things. You know, obviously, Mickey Cohen's a real person,
Hmm. Yeah,
and Lana Turner also appears as the Johnny Stompanato. So there is that kind of at the side of reality thing to it.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of fakeness versus realness, like
Yes,
the prostitutes cut to look like stars.
yes, yeah. And the LA police department being sold as this model of virtue.
Exactly,
Yeah,
when they're anything but.
yeah.
Yeah, but I thought the script is just brilliant. And I
Yes.
always thought that this movie got robbed. It should have been Best Picture instead of Titanic.
Well, yeah, but
Well,
it
yeah,
was
but
Titanic had the momentum though, didn't it? You know,
Titanic,
it,
I
yeah.
don't know. I never saw it, so I can't really say. I can't
I
really
mean,
speak with authority, so
yeah, it kind of. I mean, the Oscars tend to go to how the film community wants to perceive itself at that moment. So the biggest, most expensive, biggest film in the world that's really much captured the zeitgeist of that moment was always likely to win it, was this nominated. I mean, Ellie Confidential won Best Supporting Actress and it won Best Screenplay.
it did get that at least.
Yeah, I
And I
don't
was
think one
happy for
others as
that.
well. Yeah, yeah.
Was deserved, well deserved.
Mm.
Because the way the stories are introduced, all the little clues,
Yeah,
the woman with the nose who
yeah,
had the work done, Bud White misinterprets that, thinks she's been beaten up.
yeah,
So many false impressions, Bud White thinks something's going on with something, it's different than it actually is.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're saying about some reality versus fiction. The whole Night Owl massacre, which is kind of at the center point of the film. It's kind of the pivot. It's kind of the crescendo of the first half of the film. Is
Hmm.
is what happens with that massacre and the ramifications of it, and then further ramifications in the second half. But um, that is set up to look like something it isn't. It's
Hmm.
set up to look like this random attack on a diner went horribly wrong when it says it's a brutal hit. And then when they bring in the three young black men, as their scapegoats, they then end up confessing to a completely different crime that they think they're being
Right.
questioned about. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's so interesting the way the plot unfolds.
yeah.
It's
Let's say
like,
that scene in the interrogation room where Guy Pearce is questioning them and gradually realizing that they're confessing to a different crime to the one he's talking about.
hmm.
That's one of my favorite scenes of the
I
mighty
know
cinema. Yeah,
it's it's excellent. It's done
yeah,
really well. And it shows that he can think his way through the situation and come to his
yeah,
own conclusions.
yeah. And it's kind of you have these incredibly tense scenes where interspersed, a few minutes later you've got like a little montage of time going on and Ed's getting his medal and drug dealers are being run out, and he's got a nice tune playing in the background. This kind of always like not quite postcard LA, but it's kind of a much softer, more languid moment of it. But he's earned it with that incredible sort of tense scene and gunplay and so on.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I think this is one of the best recent film noirs of the
Yeah,
late 90s for sure.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I've seen some others that didn't impress me nearly as much, like The Black Dahlia. Have you ever seen that
yeah,
one?
yeah. That was not a good film.
Oh, that was not a good movie. That,
Yeah,
that was tough to sit through, actually.
and it's it's part of the same quartet of books as LA Confidential, and similarly labyrinthine and complex, and an example of how easy it can go wrong. If you don't, it's sort of making it simplified again, but not containing the same nuances as LA Confidential.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the nuances are what makes this movie. I mean,
yeah,
there are just the personalities. You can, each character is so distinctive, has some
yes,
kind of backstory that you can just sense, and
yeah,
it's just brilliantly done. And it's just a great movie.
yeah.
And
And it's brilliantly cast as well. And that you have, Danny
yes,
DeVito is, Danny DeVito is perfect as that role, as it sort of fits him like a glove. But you have James, was he Cromwell or Cornwell? It's Cromwell, isn't he?
Cromwell, yes,
But yeah, James Cromwell, who was primarily known at this point as the farmer in Bay. So
yes,
this avuncular, lovely presence, and
yes,
so well, it will lead you to believe that he's almost like this
genial guy.
ineffective police captain. He doesn't really, yeah, he's got arm around the lads, but doesn't really know what's going on. Like completely misleads you where it's all going to
Oh
go.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. He's great in
yeah.
this, and that the shootout at the end always makes me think of the OK Corral or some kind of Western, you know?
Yeah. Well, again, it's kind of how things are layered through this script of, James Cromwell has said to Guy Pearce earlier in the film, would you shoot a suspect in the back
Yeah,
to mitigate them getting off with the crime? That's one of the questions he repeatedly asks.
I
And
remember that.
yeah, and he
And
said,
then in
always
the
is left in
end,
this odd moment of, shoot the man in the back, shoot him.
go for it.
Yeah.
That was
No,
awesome.
yeah.
And well deserved.
Yeah.
Rollo
There's
Tomasi.
a slightly later, a couple of minutes later, the delivery when Guy Pearce is explaining the plot to go, yeah, he confessed that to me just before I shot him.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely this film has many great moments and many
Yeah.
great actors. That
Yes.
that's one thing about this movie that I just love.
Yeah.
And the just the general look of the movie is so wonderful. I
Oh,
mean,
I
it
mean,
just
it looks fantastic. Yeah.
you got this sun-drenched California landscape and all this
Yeah.
evil percolating underneath it.
Yeah. I watched recently the Robert Mitchum Farewell My Lovely.
Oh
It's
yeah?
set in Los Angeles in '40s, or made in the '70s, but set in the '40s. And it was noticeable in that how much was filmed in the studio backlot. That when they did go outside to a piece of LA, still looked like it was appropriate for the age. How much it stood out from everything else around it.
Wow.
Yeah. But this film doesn't
Interesting.
have that. This film looks like it,
It looks very authentic.
yeah, yeah,
They did a great job
yeah,
with set decoration, all of it. I mean, just
yeah.
just to give this film the look of the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
It
So
was
I don't think it
really,
was a huge budget film. I think it's kind of that film like existed in the 90s, your mid-budget that would always make its money back on video before that kind of market all died. So it's not Titanic won the Oscar. Titanic will probably about 4 times the budget of, if not more, of an LA Confidential, but it still looks absolutely fantastic.
they did a lot with a limited budget then, I gotta
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
because it's really just so well done. And what else is there to say about this movie?
Well, it's this. I mean, it's Kim Basinger not quite being femme fatale.
No, I wouldn't call her a
No,
femme fatale.
yeah, but it's because she looks, she's Veronica Lake, or
Hmm.
she's the Veronica Lake. It's kind of almost like positioned as a femme fatale figure, but then going deeper into who she actually is. So she's
She's not. No.
not just a type.
Really, this is a movie that doesn't have a femme fatale.
No, no.
The women are
It's
all victims of the system.
yeah. Well, it's only we should put. I suppose. Well, this Kim Basinger. I guess the other main female character is the mother of the woman who dies.
Right,
Yes,
right.
it's a very male heavy film.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
It's really about guys mixing it up. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
ultimately, the big fight between White and Exley goes on for a bit and is very
yeah,
intense. But ultimately, White comes to see that it's better that they work together than
yeah.
fight each other.
Well, it's kind of I mean, can you label it too much? But they've both kind of grown by that point as characters. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. That XT is becoming more flexible, and White is realizing that he can't just hit his way through things.
yes. It might behoove you to think a little bit
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah, yeah,
especially when you go off and break your own rule and punch your purported girlfriend in the face.
yes,
Uh, that's another thing. People are going around breaking their own rules all over the place. Exley shoots the captain or whatever in the back.
yeah,
Um, Bud White hauls off and hits a woman, which he would
yeah,
kill himself for doing if he were somebody, if it were somebody
yeah.
else.
And it's not
So,
spoken aloud, but Vincent starts caring about people other than himself, which is
yeah,
not something he
yeah,
does at the start of the film. But that's kind of it's great character and a great performance. Like he's kind of like runs into a brick wall of his conscience. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So, in the sense, there really is kind of who is the protagonist of this movie? I see this as having dual protagonists in a way.
Or a trio even of protagonists, and just one of them dies sooner than the others.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
Although you could think of Jack Vincennes as a kind of supporting mentor kind of character
yeah,
because he's there for Exley.
yeah,
He's there for Sid and his scandal sheet.
yeah,
He's kind of in the middle.
yeah,
So I always thought of Exley as being one one protagonist with one goal, and Bud with another protagonist with another goal who come to blows and eventually
yeah,
realize that their goals can actually come together
mm,
against the bad guy, the
yeah,
big bad guy,
yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
that. The way I best understand the movie. Anyway, I don't know. So there is kind of a hero's journey of sorts that comes out to a happy ending.
Yeah.
Kinda. Kinda happy. Kind of
Well, no, I
bittersweet.
think it's
I think it's
yeah. I mean, I
happy.
suppose you sort of talked about the kind of the facade versus the reality, and you got the police chief going, we're forming a new LA police force. Well, you know,
Not really,
oh,
but
presumably you said that
maybe.
after the fight in the jail cells as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. How much is really going to change because of this? Hmm.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, we don't really know. We don't really
yeah,
know
yeah,
how much really changes as a result. But we do know that at least Exley's going to be presumably okay as the ostensible hero of the piece.
yeah,
And Bud is going to go off and live his life with Veronica Lake, sort of.
yes, yeah.
Kinda, sort of, kinda. Kim Basinger at any rate, who's
Wicked mixture,
who's not chopped liver. So
yeah, with a new haircut.
yeah, yeah, new
Yeah,
haircut. There you go.
yeah,
Off
yes.
to Bisbee we go. Bisbee, Arizona, wherever that is.
In Arizona, I presume.
Yes, in Arizona. Arizona is very dry and very deserty.
Yes,
I've been there a couple of times. Interesting place.
I think I've been there once. But yeah, it was desert, the bit I went to. I
So,
think, yeah,
yeah,
one of my favorite films of the decade of the 90s.
for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely. I mean, it's a standout for me. It's like
yeah,
I always go back to this one when I want some kind of film noirish movie that still feels, relevant to today.
yeah, yeah.
Frighteningly relevant, unfortunately. Lord, I won't even
Yeah.
go into the international stuff. I am so, well, I won't go into it. I didn't vote for him. That's all I'll say. So, yeah,
So
great movie.
what should we do next month then? I was thinking we
Let's
did
see.
mention doing Gun Crazy. We didn't
Gun
do because I can't find
Crazy.
it. Let's
That would
let's
be
do Gun
great.
Crazy.
Gun Crazy. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I love Peggy Cummins in that movie. She
I've
was
never
also
seen it,
in
so
she was also in another one I like called Hell Drivers.
okay.
She was in Hell Drivers as kind of like a minor part, but she ended up getting close to one of the drivers or something.
Is that the British film?
Yeah, it's a British film
With Sean Connery and Patrick
with
McGowan and
Sean
William Hartnell
Patrick
and
McGowan. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
I've seen that, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen it. It's been a while, but I've seen it.
It's
Yeah.
got that kind of title of like a Helldiver, got like a title of I think that's the British film, but equally maybe several films called Helldivers. It's got that possibly slightly generic title.
Yeah. I always liked Patrick McGowan. I always liked Sean Connery in it.
Yeah,
They're young, they're they're good.
yeah,
They're intense.
yeah, yes,
Patrick McGowan plays a very intense role in this one.
yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not going to do Helldivers, we're going to
We're
do
not going to do
Gun
that.
Crazy instead.
We're going to do Gun Crazy, which is awesome.
Yes.
So in any event, as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you about film noir,
Yes, pleasure talking to you too.
and I shall see you then in a month, I guess.
See you in a month, yes.
And to all of you listening or watching, um, check out the movie if you haven't seen it, LA Confidential. It's a great film
Hmm?
and well worth watching.
Yeah,
So until next time, take care and we'll be seeing you.
we'll see you soon.